I embarrass the person I love most without realizing it.
I never thought a single night could change so much about who I was and who I was becoming. When we walked into the party together, I felt on top of the world, energized, confident, ready to have a good time. The music was loud, people were laughing, and drinks were flowing freely. This was my kind of scene. I've always been someone who thrives on attention, and that night I welcomed it without a second thought. My boyfriend, on the other hand, stayed close by my side, calm and reserved, offering a polite smile to anyone who spoke to him. I'd always known we were different. I was loud and expressive. He was thoughtful and quiet. I used to think that balance was what made us special, but that night I completely forgot why it mattered. As the evening went on, my confidence grew with every laugh I got from the crowd. I started telling stories. At first they were harmless. Then they became careless. It started with a small joke about his cooking. People laughed, and that feeling of satisfaction was intoxicating. I didn't see the way his body stiffened or how his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. Encouraged by the attention, I kept going. I joked about how awkward he was on the dance floor, how serious he could be, how he never knew what to say in social situations. Every laugh from the group pushed me further, and every word chipped away at something I didn't realize I was destroying. At some point, the laughter around me faded into an uncomfortable silence. I looked around and saw people exchanging glances. That's when I realized he wasn't next to me anymore. My heart sank. I spotted him standing alone on the balcony, just staring out into the night. I followed him out, the cool air hitting my face and sobering me up instantly. He didn't turn around when I called his name. When he finally did, the look in his eyes stopped me cold. He wasn't angry. He was hurt in a way I had never seen before. I tried to laugh it off, telling him I was just joking, that everyone knew it was all in good fun. He listened quietly, then asked me a simple question that changed everything. He asked if I had ever stopped to think about how my jokes made him feel. I didn't have an answer. He told me he'd spent years brushing off my comments, pretending they didn't sting, convincing himself that being patient was better than being honest. That night wasn't the first time he felt small because of my words. It was just the first time he couldn't ignore it anymore. Hearing him speak so openly made my chest ache. I had confused teasing with humor and attention with validation. Then he said something I wasn't prepared for. He told me he had been thinking about ending our relationship. Not because he didn't love me, but because he felt unseen, unappreciated, and reduced to a punchline. In that moment, the world felt like it was tilting beneath my feet. I begged him to give me another chance, not with empty promises, but with real honesty. I admitted that my need for attention often blinded me to the people who mattered most. He didn't forgive me instantly, but he agreed to stay and talk. That conversation lasted for hours. We talked about things we had never said out loud before: his insecurities, my fear of being ignored, and all the ways we had unknowingly hurt each other. When we finally went back inside, the party felt different. The laughter seemed hollow. The noise was just overwhelming. For the first time, I didn't want to be the center of attention. I just wanted to sit beside him and listen. We left early that night, driving home in a quiet understanding instead of an awkward silence. The days that followed weren't easy. Change never is. I had to confront the parts of myself I didn't like the way. I used humor as a shield and sought validation from strangers instead of from the person right beside me. I started paying attention to my words, my tone, and my intentions. I learned that being funny should never come at someone else's expense. And he noticed. Slowly, he began to open up more. Our conversations became deeper, more honest. Weeks later, we went to another gathering. This time, I stayed close to him, included him in conversations, and resisted the urge to perform for the room. And to my surprise, I enjoyed myself more than ever. Without the pressure to entertain, I felt lighter, more genuine. Watching him relax and engage in his own way made me so proud. That night marked the beginning of something stronger between us. Not perfect, but real. We kept talking, kept checking in, and kept choosing respect over ego. I learned that love isn't about being impressive or entertaining. It's about being kind, attentive, and willing to grow. Looking back, I'm grateful for that uncomfortable moment on the balcony. It forced me to see myself clearly and taught me that words carry incredible weight. Mockery disguised as humor can hurt just as deeply as intentional cruelty. Real connection is worth so much more than a room full of laughter. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.